In a lecture hall, 2 time zones away, Dr. Elias Renn watched the same broadcast on a battered projector whose fan whines like an insect. His students were half present, half elsewhere, eyes flicking between the screen and their phones, their attention traded like cheap currency. Renn didn't blame them. Modernity had trained the mind to see everything at a distance. Catastrophe was a kind of entertainment until it arrived with teeth. He clicked the remote and brought the image to a pause, a white dot annotated with arrows and speculation. The temptation, he said, is to treat what we don't understand as either miracle or threat. Both. Responses are emotionally satisfying. Neither is useful. A hand rose, lazy. A boy in a hoodie, bright but bored. So what is it? Renn considered the question as if it deserved more than the room offered. Something that has meaning, he said finally, even if we haven't learned to read it. A few students exchanged looks. Their professor always spoke like this, always circling. Language as if it were prey, always insisting that patterns mattered more than machines. Semiotics, the department joked, was the study of making plain things complicated. And in the hierarchy of real sciences, semiotics sat somewhere between astrology and interpretive dance. Renn knew what they called him behind his back. He also knew, with the stubborn certainty of a man who'd built a life around an unpopular idea, that meaning was not limited to human mouths. When the lecture ended, he returned to his office. It was a small room packed with too many books, the air smelling faintly of old paper and coffee, left too long on a warmer. There were diagrams on the walls, bird call spectrograms, whale song harmonics, ancient trade glyphs from forgotten ports. He had lived his life assembling proof that communication was not always spoken. His phone buzzed with a message from a colleague. Elias, please don't go on TV. They're calling it alien. We don't need your contribution. Renn stared at the screen until the words blurred. Then he set the phone face down and opened his laptop. In the Pacific, 1,200 miles from the nearest continent, Sergeant Kara Holt stood with her hands on the rail of an aircraft carrier and watched the sea. She had served long enough to distrust calm. Calm, in her experience, was what you got right. Before someone started screaming. The carrier was part of a ring, steel and aircraft and satellites and submarines, a muscle flexidround, an empty center. Somewhere beneath the waves, sonar had painted the outline of the visitor. A mass too large for comfort, too geometric for nature. The officers called it the object. The politicians called it the event. The sailors called it what sailors always called the unknown. Any change? Holt asked. A young lieutenant beside her glanced at his tablet. His face had the pale sheen of someone who hadn't slept. No emissions, no movement. No signal we can pick up.